bouncing blue eyes, what do you smile for? Oh, my darling, it is you I adore. Bouncing blue eyes, what do you dream of when day turns to night and I shut off the light and your mind can take flight?
This is a bit of a departure from my typical weather update. For those who keep up with my daily videos, you know that I've struggled to explain what I experienced the night of the Eden Vista storm this summer. But I think it's important that I try. I want to reiterate that my statements do not reflect the views of our network or of our affiliate. Anything shared in this message is solely my own sentiment. When something like this happens, our initial reaction is disbelief, and I certainly don't fault anyone who doubts my account of the events that night. But I urge you to scrounge up whatever bit of imaginative hope you have and suspend your disbelief long enough to consider the idea that what happened was real, and it meant something. And if you can do that, if you can sit with that impossibility, there's the chance that that night will have served a purpose. Both funnels that touch down east of Eden Vista have broken up, but it is advised that you do stay sheltered at this time. The pass through west central Moody County showed a lot of structural damage. The stronger of the two tornadoes traveled several miles straight south along I-29. As of now, no injuries reported, but the storm front still to come has an even higher probability of tornadic activity. So please remain secure at home, especially those near Coleman, Eden Vista, and Egan. I hope to have more details for you as I know more. Signing off now. Okay, that's the last one for a while. Thanks again for the lift.
Of course. Minor miracle I saw your car through the hail.
I can't believe anyone else was out in this. Where did you say your dig site is? Because I thought that... Whoa, stop! Where's that kid going? Yeah, pull up closer. Hey, you're gonna get hurt. Climb in.
It's okay. Hop in. We'll grab your bike.
Hey, what are you doing out here? Didn't you hear the siren?
Yeah.
You weren't worried? What's your name?
Alfred Creer.
It's nice to meet you, Alfred. I'm Sam, and this is Adrian. Where are you headed?
Madison.
Is that where you live?
Nope.
Where's your family?
Not here.
You're alone? Okay. Well, we're going to hole up for a bit at a restaurant in Byrne. Another storm's coming, so it's probably a good idea to stay hunkered down. Why don't you hang with us for a little while until everything passes, and then we'll get you home. Is it okay that we're doing this? Taking him like this?
We really don't have a choice. It's not safe out. We'll call the sheriff when we get to Burning. We'll get everything sorted out.
Come in, hello.
I'll go make that call. I'll be right back.
It's wild out. Here, have a seat. Let me get you something to drink. What would you like?
Oh, I might wait to see what Adrian wants, and... Alfred, do you want a soda?
Pineapple.
Pineapple soda? I don't think they'll have that.
We do.
You do? Okay, well, we'll take it. Thanks. Say, real quick, is that a lilac bush out front?
Yeah, ha. The bloom's stuck around this year.
But how does that... I don't understand. All summer?
We don't get it either, but we don't question it too much. Cheers the place up. Are you hungry? Can I fix you something to eat?
I'm not sure.
I'll leave this here for you to look over, and I'll be back with your soda.
Thanks. Hey, do you want to hand me your jacket? I'll hang it up to dry a little bit. Yeesh, what do you have? Baseballs in the pockets?
Oranges.
Oranges. Huh, okay. Do you want me to lay out your backpack too?
No.
Okay. I hope there's not homework in there. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to learn during summer vacation.
It's my project.
What kind of project?
It's about animals' eyes.
Cool. Can I see it?
It's not done yet.
Well, here. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Now you have space if you want to work on it.
Thanks.
Are you hungry? What should we get?
Taco pizza.
I've never tried that. That Sounds good.
All right. What are we thinking?
Alfred's vote is for taco pizza.
Let's do it. Inez, can we do a taco pizza and 2 lion's paws, please? Is that...
Yeah, sounds good.
Hey, Alfred, they've got an old-fashioned jukebox back by the kitchen. Take this. Why don't you go pick out a couple of songs for us?
Okay.
The sheriff's sending someone from Child Services to pick up Alfred and look after him until they can track down his family. But they're going to hold off until the storm advisory lifts. He said to just sit tight and keep an eye on him for now.
Do you think it's weird that he wasn't scared? He was so close to where the worst of the storm came through, and he didn't seem to realize or hear the sirens. That's strange, right?
It's surprising.
Should we try to find out about his family? I mean, should we figure out what's going on with him?
No. It's a scary time. I think we just look after him and make sure he's okay until they can send someone for him. Oh, nice choice, Alfred. Our pizza's cooking up now.
Hey, I have a joke.
Okay, shoot.
You ready?
Ready.
A ham sandwich walks into a bar and orders a drink. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here."
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's great. I have to steal that one. My students will love it.
You teach? I thought you were an archaeologist.
I do both. The dig I'm leading is a summer field school.
And you're digging in Eden Vista?
Just near there. The site is right where Lake and Moody counties come together. Here, I have a map. See, this is where we're digging now, and eventually we'll work our way over to here.
What are these lines?
That's the site grid. We measure out units to help us record the exact locations of what we find.
Is the site sheltered at all? Could the storm have destroyed anything?
The whole site's covered. So unless the tornado passed directly through, I think we should be fine.
That's good. Eden Vista was demolished. It's so awful. I can't imagine how they'll recover.
It'll be okay.
Thanks, Alfred. No, you're right.
What is that you're drawing?
A panorama.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Horses can see all the way around to the sides. I'm going to draw a field and hills like how a horse sees it.
That sounds great. I can't wait to see when you're done.
So, Sam, your video earlier, you're a meteorologist, but without a film crew?
Pretty much. I work for a news station, but I'm semi-independent, if that makes sense. I mostly track and record storms.
Well, I guess I don't know too much about storm chasing outside of what I've seen in documentaries.
Oof. To be fair, the people in those documentaries are outliers. There's a whole professional field apart from the adrenaline junkies. And it's all a lot safer than it used to be. When my partner Tim started out, the whole field was still this undeveloped free-for-all. It was just a bunch of graduate students living out of hotels and tracking storms on their laptops. I mean, we still take more risks than we tell our families about, but our equipment is more advanced now, and we have protocols we follow and actual objectives. My video tonight was for a television station. Networks contract people like me for live footage. All the weather updates and in-person shots that their studio meteorologists can't get.
That sounds intense.
It can be, especially lately.
Why is that?
I've had a side project in the works with Tim. A National Weather Institute is considering adopting Tim's tracking program, but they need an insane amount of data to even entertain the idea. We've been rejected 4 times in the last 3 years. This is probably the last major storm of the season. And I was hoping to collect the final bit we needed before the deadline this fall. They haven't used the words last chance, but that's the impression I get. It's doable, I think, just a lot of pressure.
Where's your partner tonight?
Oh, he actually passed recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, thanks. So, yeah, it's just me for now, but what about you? Did you have to close down the dig site on your own?
A couple of students stayed back to help. They got drenched.
Oh, no. Well, small price to pay to get to unearth history. Man, I can't get over that. Chipping away dirt clods from these massively valuable artifacts.
That's something.
I've always pictured it kind of like Michelangelo said. You know, how the sculpture was already there in the marble and he was just freeing it. Bad analogy?
Well, it's a different sensation, isn't it? Discovering something versus creating it.
Oh, I guess.
I like that image. It's just that I don't see it like that. Don't get me wrong, it's incredible. but I've been thinking lately how I always assumed I would be on the other end.
What do you mean?
I sometimes have this thought that all my time is devoted to what others have done and made, and I'm not out making anything of my own, that a professor in the future would find worth studying. Hearing it out loud, that sounds way oversimplified, but I feel it, usually when I have too much time to think. We just sent my daughter off to school, and I guess it's made me wonder, made me remember a lot.
Such as?
Just where my head was at when I was at her age, what I thought I was going to do. Also, this invention journal I used to keep in middle school.
Yeah? For a class?
No, just on my own. I'd carry it with me everywhere and jot down ideas and sketches that came to me. I found it in the garage last week as we were packing up the car for Trina. I started to flip through it, and of course, nothing in there was as groundbreaking as I thought. At the time, though, it felt important. I don't know. It felt good. I remember I showed the journal to my chess club coach in the 8th grade. He got more excited than I was and told me over and over how eager he was to see what I did with it. I can still see him looking up from my sketches and telling me I had real potential as an engineer, that I'd create something really great and worthwhile.
Did you?
Well, I kept sketching through high school and into college. I had pretty detailed plans for a farmer's market from my hometown. The vendors had their own stalls, and it was all sheltered and had a retractable wall for loading in. Anyway, I took on a grad assistantship in anthropology and got really into research. My interest shifted. I switched my major, things changed. I've been on this track ever since, but this is good too. I like what I do. I like what I teach, and the students are great. I just thought I might have accomplished something different, created something.
I get that.
You do?
Yeah. I thought I was going to be an artist.
What kind?
Illustrator. Comics.
Oh, wow. Like the funnies in the paper or superheroes.
Closer to superheroes. Like paneled stories with longer storylines. I was going to start by illustrating for some small Midwest publisher and work my way up to being a guest artist for a major run. Catch the eye of Jeff Johns or Francis Manipool, and then I'd have my own series. Or at least that's how I had it mapped out in my mind.
And now you chase tornadoes.
Now I chase tornadoes.
Do you still make art?
I do. It's funny. I got an art scholarship from the University of Oklahoma, which is actually how I ended up finding meteorology. I took this course called Capturing and Projecting Light as my science elective and was just blown away. It was like physics meets photography meets theology. It was all of it. It completely shook up my plans. But I haven't abandoned illustration. I've been slowly plugging away on a series about a little kid who meets his dad as a boy his own age, and the two become best friends.
That sounds great.
Thanks. I sent the first issue to a few dozen publishers, but haven't had any luck. That's the thing. Even if I do create, even if you put everything into your work, there's no guarantee that others receive it.
I suppose.
Like Tim and his research. There are only so many ways to be shot down.
But he kept after it.
Have you heard of Joshua Bell?
The name's familiar.
Here are your drinks and your pies in the oven.
Hey, thanks, Inez.
Sure thing.
You were saying?
Joshua Bell. He's a violinist who sells out symphony halls for massive concerts and is the top in what he does. Anyway, he was part of an experiment where he set up in a subway station in New York and played the violin for hours for everyone passing through. The experimenters wanted to test how people would react if they'd recognize his abilities in that setting, somewhere they wouldn't expect to hear world-class talent. He couldn't get half of the commuters to throw him $1 when he played in the subway. Some stopped for a second, the same people who would have stopped for any street musician, and the rest just kept their heads down and pushed past. Even people who had tickets to his concerts. Almost no one cared. They couldn't be bothered.
Was it that they didn't care or that they just didn't notice?
That's just as bad, I think. To not register anything. Entertaining angels, They didn't even know what they had.
I'm not sure that's fair. They're commuters. They're tired. You're not in the right headspace for that. For art. You can't fault them for that.
That's the point. They're all exhausted all the time. It's not like there'll ever be an ideal point in our lives when we have perfect focus and time to slow down and take it in. It's happening and we're missing it. We have to decide over and over to pay attention.
You seem fired up about it.
It's just something I've been thinking about a lot. Anyway, we got off track. You were telling me how you missed your shot at your calling, even though Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was 78. I mean, not to draw a direct comparison.
You did.
But I just think it shows there's no timeline for changing course.
I'm not worried so much about time. I just don't know if I can justify leaving something that served me so well and made me so happy for the promise of what might be nothing like I've imagined. And I know that Trina moving out has made it all seem more urgent than it probably is. All that excitement of change and new challenges. Uh-oh.
Alfred? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Where are you?
I'm right here.
You disappeared on us. Come sit closer to me.
Don't worry.
Here, I've got candles. Our generator is in rough shape, but we usually don't go too long without power.
Can we help you with anything?
No, thank you. Glad for the wood fire stove. Your pizza will be finished up in a few minutes and I'll have it out to you.
Well, thank you so much. Hey, are you okay? What is it?
I should be out there. I should be on the storm.
If you want, I've got Alfred. You can go.
No, I can't. Thank you. I don't know what to do.
Really, we're all good here. I hate to see you race out in that, but whatever you need to do.
No, that's okay. No, I'm going to stay.
Are you sure?
No, but I think I should stay.
What would Tim tell you to do?
That's the question. He probably would have told me to stay put because I don't know nearly enough about the equipment to collect data by myself.
He'd say that?
No, actually, he wouldn't. But it's true. He was in charge of all of that.
He was pretty tech savvy?
Yeah, he was. He wrote the code for our whole tracking system. He was the one who'd troubleshoot any issues we had with the radios or computers.
The left-brainer.
How's that?
Well, just that he was logical, analytical.
Yes, exactly. Although he could be pretty sentimental about chasing too.
Is that right?
He was always asking me what color the storm was. It's not gray. It's not purple. What is it? It was obnoxious and I wouldn't play along, but one day last fall, we were coming up on a really beautiful thunderstorm just outside the Badlands, and it had the most sharp, clear borders possible. And I spent miles trying to think of how I would describe its colors. Finally, I told him the storm was the color of plums and wet rocks. And he stopped the truck, just pulled to the side of the highway. "That's it," he said. "That's exactly it." We didn't end up chasing that storm. It didn't ever grow strong enough to kick up a funnel, anyway. We just watched it.
Huh.
That day stands out all the more because he had the same excitement that he did when we first started working together, before the Weather Institute.
Do you think he stopped enjoying it?
No, he struggled to balance it with everything else. I mean, it used to be that he would take breaks now and then for family time or fishing trips, but as soon as we got involved with the Institute, it was like he didn't have a choice but to jump on every storm, even the really dangerous ones.
Do you feel that way, like you can't miss a storm?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have, but it's easier for me, being on my own. I remember one time Tim was grabbing takeout for his family when we all got the severe weather alert, and our team took off, and it wasn't until we were crossing the Nebraska border that he realized he hadn't let his wife know. He felt awful. It was just this constant battle for him. He was serious about getting the best data, but supremely cautious when he had us riding with him. His last trip, he went alone. And I just think it might have been different if we all would have gone with him. Not because of anything we would have done, but maybe he would have, held back.
That's hard to say.
It's hard to wonder.
At bare minimum, you can know that he was chasing his passion at the end. Yeah, cliche as that is.
No, that helps. It's true. But even in that, he was conflicted.
What do you mean?
As much as chasing meant to him, he could never reconcile with the violence and destruction. It tore him apart when a storm veered into town or ripped up someone's farmland.
I can't imagine.
He quit twice. Once after the Sibley tornado and again after Rapid City. Both times, the station let him step away, get his head right. Then they accepted him back without question. He would just bring his equipment back in and start up again. I quit too, that second time. Our whole team had the wind knocked out of us, and we all just went our own ways for a bit.
But you came back. Why?
It was Tim. He tracked me down at my parents' and told me, of course, I was free to be done with it all. He understood. But he said there was a way to make use of my grief. Let it inform what I did next, who I was after. He said we could channel our grief into making more accurate tracking models, better warning systems, ultimately help more people. He said if I was anything like him, I'd never understand the pain or destruction. But if I approached it thoughtfully, as a learner, then it wasn't totally empty or senseless. That was kind of his mantra during the rough times. Make use of it when you can't make sense of it. And now he's gone, and I don't really know why I'm doing it anymore. It feels reckless to keep going, but also disrespectful to Tim to stop. I don't know. If I quit, if I leave the station, then what was the point? Everything he taught me and all our research, 3 years we've been building out this system, applying over and over to this institute. But how crazy is it to stay invested in something that killed him? How is that honoring him?
That's hard. Are you leaning one way or the other?
I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now. Just this indecisive dance where I still track storms, but not like before. And I kind of search for other jobs, but not really. But I know that staying in this middle ground isn't the right move. I have a final interview this week for a job in Des Moines. They've already offered to adjust the start date for me, so I'm pretty sure it's mine if I want it.
In weather?
It's weather adjacent. I'd be teaching science lessons at a children's museum.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
You sound not excited. Is it decent pay?
Not at all.
Do you have any family out there?
No.
Friends?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the only advice I have is to keep at it. I know it sounds really unhelpful right now when you want everything mapped out, but it'll happen for you. You'll figure it out. Chasing or not chasing, changing jobs, making comics. Try not to think of this job or moving as the big decider, you know? Don't treat it like it's what sets the course for your life. You're just making a decision for what comes next. If it's not right, you can move back or change jobs, try something different. Nothing's permanent.
Thanks.
Oh, the sheriff. May I?
Yeah, of course.
Hello. Yes. It is? Right. We are. Yes. No. We haven't. Okay. Okay. Sure, that'll be great. Thank you. Social worker's on her way. She's coming for Brookings, so I'd say about half an hour.
Okay. Good.
Oh, wow, Alfred, that's really come together.
Hey, yeah. I love your pine trees. But why'd you cover up the sides of the drawing like that?
A horse can see all that, but not people. This little window here is what people see.
Oh, man, no fair.
No, it's okay. You don't need to see it all at once. Plus, look how bright the window is. People get to see this part right in front much better.
Why do you think that is?
Horses need to see what's coming at them to protect themselves. People just need to see the leaves and the branches and the faces right in front of them.
I think you're right. That's really neat, Alfred.
Yeah, great job.
And your dinner in the dark is served.
Hey, that smells great. Thank you.
Thanks. You've got the server, Alfred? You want to dish us up? Alfred? When it happened, the room was one big flashbulb burst. Alfred looked backlit and searingly bright. It was like he was a man and a boy at once. And these enormous wings folded out from him. Then he was gone. In an instant, there was movement and then nothing. It was silent. Then this unbelievable calm. Just this astounding peace. And somehow we both understood what had happened. What Alfred was. Though we couldn't explain it. We knew, but were so filled up that no words came. Does that make any sense? Later, Adrian tried to draw what we'd seen, the exact moment. He came close. The drawing is more impression than form. A rough charcoal sketching that somehow shows light. Not at all like his dig site sketches, so precise and literal. He told me a museum in Chicago bought the drawing and will display it soon as part of an exhibit. And I know I've shared photos of the drawing on my site, but if you get out that way, you really should see it in person. It's something else. Boy angel, he calls it. Of course, by now you know that Alfred's impact turned out to be even greater than what Adrian and I experienced. What the reports got wrong was in saying the reservation looked untouched the next morning. That's not right. It wasn't as if the storm had never happened, like we had just imagined all of the destruction, but as if every structure had been torn apart and reassembled. Like a board game was overturned and everything was put back in place again. The best way I can describe it is that it's like those dreams you have where you're in your childhood home, but it's not really your childhood home. There's something a little different, like a door in a different place. I mean, the whole town feels new. I know it's the same town, obviously, but it's not the same. And everyone at the station has been completely baffled. Tim's predictive system told us that Eden Vista and the entire western edge of the reservation would be leveled by the storm. And they were. That's the thing. But that morning, they were back. They were whole again. The fields were still torn up, and there were dozens of trees uprooted and big branches everywhere, but no sign of damage to the homes or the businesses and barns. Of course, that led to the controversy over my videos from that night. People have argued that my footage must have come from another town the same size, that the damage in the videos was too complete for anyone to claim it was Eden Vista. And I get it, because what other explanation makes any sense? But residents know. They were there. They heard walls collapse above them and felt the storm pull against their shelter doors. They've spotted their kitchen clocks and side tables among the debris in my videos. It's all just a big part of why I haven't talked about Alfred is because I don't want to cheapen what happened. To talk away the miracle of it. Because there's no way Adrian and I can come close to expressing the reality of what we experienced. I don't know how I could not try, though. How could I live through that and not share it? I realize my decision comes at the cost of my credibility as a reporter, and by extension, any opportunity to have my research with Tim recognized by the Institute. But this is the surest I've felt about any decision in a long time. So I have hours and hours of rambly, complete, unusable footage of me rehashing different details from that night. From my conversation with Adrian, what Alfred said, and what a calm kid he was, but no way to tie it all together in any meaningful way. No way of knowing which parts are significant. Does it matter that Alfred kept oranges in his pockets, or that his bike stayed behind when he disappeared? Does it matter what joke he told, or how still and quiet he was when he listened to Adrian and me talk? I don't really know. I know that Tim would have thought it was all significant. The oranges and Alfred's laugh, all of it. maybe that's enough reason for me to share it. I feel like a narrator in a play, and I missed all the rehearsals. And now I'm trying to piece the storyline together as I'm telling it. And I don't understand it. I don't. I don't know how a 90-foot grain silo gets destroyed and it reassembles itself. I don't know how to explain to child services that this boy with no records and no family has vanished. Or how we could have not noticed Alfred was special earlier. Why he chose us. So I'm leaving for Des Moines in a couple of hours. I've got most everything packed up, and I'm going to make one last phone call to Adrian before I take off. He's on day 10 of his sabbatical and just finished handing everything over to the new dig director. So I'm excited to hear how that went. When we spoke on Sunday, he told me Inez can barely keep up with all the traffic the restaurant's getting. And he says her lilacs are still in bloom, which is just wild to me. Anyway, thank you for listening. I was hoping to have a better handle on this all before I shared it, but here we are. Cheers to wondering at it all together. And Iowa has quite its share of severe weather, so keep an eye out for new videos once I get settled. Not professional ones, of course. News stations don't find me super credible at the moment, but I'll capture what I can on my own. Until then, take care, take notice, and never stop chasing.
Tonight's Sioux Empire Community Theater presentation of Alfred featured Alex Weiland as Sam, Kevin Kunkel as Adrian, Prentice Jensen as Alfred, Shelli Masek as Inez. Alfred was directed by Robin Byrne and written by Mo Hurley.
Cloudy sunrise, morning rain, and a fleece that you wear to keep warm from the wind and the chill deep inside of your mind.
Hey everybody, it's Jordan Deffenbaugh. Thank you for listening in to Alfred by our very own Mo Hurley. She's a local playwright and actress, and she's done a number of things with the Sioux Empire Community Theater. So thank you, Mo. And now I'm coming to the time in the show where I'm going to ask you for money. I'm sorry. But we need to raise funds to basically keep the theater in operation. So this is how we've been sort of keeping ourselves busy, so to speak, and making sure that we're continually supporting local theater artists in our community. So if you would like to support the Sioux Empire Community Theater, you can go to SiouxFallsTheater.com, and on the website you should see a donate link. Go there. You can do a one-time sort of donation, say whatever you can muster at the moment, or you can join our 120 Club, where you basically pay in $120 a year. It's $10 a month. It's a great way to support the theater. Not too much out of your wallet, and it's greatly appreciated by us here at the Sioux Empire Community Theater. You can also support us by jumping over to a thing called ourmayberry.com. It is a new app that is coming out that will support local businesses as well as nonprofits like the Sioux Empire Community Theater. So if you go there, ourmayberry.com, and you can look for our campaign and you can join it.